Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Brojection Room. I'm Jack.
I'm Gaz.
And in today's episode we're going to be talking some of our favourite horror films. Not per se our like definite number 1, 2, 3, whatever, just some of
Yeah.
our favourites because there is so many that we do enjoy. We're also
Yeah.
going to be chatting about some of the weaker one, whatever you want to call them.
Rubbish. The
Rubbish.
worst.
Yes, sorry, potty mouth there. Yeah, and also some of our favourite jump scares, which doesn't have to necessarily be horror, but they are commonly found in horror. Yeah, just a nice. Well, we always say nice, quick episode, but we'll try to keep this a bit concise and not waffle. But
Yeah,
that's what we
it's
do.
never it's never straightforward with us. We plan an hour and 10, end up being nearly freaking 2 hours of one. So you know what? We like talking film, so this is pretty cool. And I couldn't care less how long these go for. Just a quick touch what you just said. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this because while these aren't necessarily our favorite horror movies, talking about horror, it's one of my favorite genres. It's probably my second, third, maybe. Yeah, I think there's so much creativity that you can use with horror. Even though I do think some tropes have been way overdone, but it's all part of the fun,
That's what
isn't
I
it?
was going to say. Yeah. It's difficult to make a horror, original horror. I think, to be fair, saying that, I haven't seen Weapons. I've heard good stuff about that. But I've heard 2025 has been pretty good for horror, so I'm all for
It's
it.
been solid. Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree with you. It's nice. Even last year, I mean, I haven't seen The Substance, but I heard that was fantastic, and she got nominated for an Oscar for it. So it just shows that it needs more recognition. I've got to say, I think the last 5 years we've had some really solid horror movies. I mean, Talk to Me. No one expected it to be that good, and I'm looking forward to Bring Her Back. I know it's been out. It's been out in America for a couple of months or a month or two, but it hasn't released yet in the UK. I believe it comes out Friday or the following week. I know it's this month, but yeah, it's very soon. But we got to play catch up eventually because I haven't had a chance to see anything, and I won't be able to for the next few weeks. So, I look forward to going and seeing them and seeing what the crack is. But yeah, same as you, I've heard a lot of good things about Weapons, even though every time I see a trailer, it piques my interest. I want to know how these children go missing. But the director did Barbarian, and I'm not massive on it. Like you said, I've heard nothing but good things about this. So fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. So let's just jump straight into our list then. Do you want to go first?
I will, absolutely. So I will refer to my letterbox. So I do apologise if I look to my left or your right, however you want to word it, because I do have a bit to say about it because of how much it took me by surprise, and I think it took everybody by surprise. So my first pick is one of my favourite horror movies, and incredibly miles better than the original, Smile 2.
Okay, I can't say that.
Yeah.
I haven't watched either of them.
So again, sorry, before I start, I do apologise again, referring to my notes. So it might come across I might come across as quite philosophical, but this is the reason why I love horror so much, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be about the gore, the jump scares, all the monsters. It can be something so relatable as mental health that becomes the horror. The film paints this as being possessed, but we don't need the supernatural when a person's mind is held by paranoia and deep trauma. The film confuses us with what is real and what is imagined to highlight what it's like to live in an unhealed mind. It makes you wonder how many people are mentally traumatized but are hiding it to seem or feel normal. It also shows the celebrity pressures of putting on a perfect persona while struggling to live as a normal person. That's one of the main messages behind that film, but the film itself is simply fantastic. It's a rare case where the sequel outshines the original, and the lead actress, Naomi Scott, gives one of the best performances I have ever seen in a horror movie, carries that film. It's a rare case where I love the film so much due to the performance of the lead actress, or actor as you like to call it nowadays. And she delivered on every single aspect. The cinematography in this film is exceptional. We'll notice a lot when we talk about film. It's like one of my favorite things I love is the shot, the cinematography. The score is ominous and so intense. The story is so well written, along with the script. All the death scenes were impactful and definitely very gory. Probably not as gory as the original, but still very impactful. And the ending is shocking. I won't spoil it. It is shocking and it's mind-blowing. This was truly great in my eyes and one of the best modern horror films of this century. Emotionally intense, a terrific sequel, and I hope there is a third installment and it reaches the heights like this. Yeah, sorry, a bit of ramble, but Smile 2, simply amazing.
Yeah, again, I've heard good stuff about that. I've seen a few pictures. See the girl with short hair, blonde?
Yes.
Yeah. I've seen a few pictures and stills and stuff. Yeah, I've never watched them. Never really been intrigued to watch them because I think, again, like I mentioned in the last episode, I think marketing sometimes it was just like I thought it'd be a generic like if you smile you're possessed and they catch you,
Mm,
blah blah blah.
mm.
So I don't know the ins and outs of it.
Well, what I think the film this one did really well was the fact that they put people specifically, like in America, they had like baseball games, and they were behind the batter, and they were just really smiling. It was a really good, really different marketing campaign. So that you don't really see that often. So I was really impressed by that, and same as you. I mean, I've seen the first one. I thought it was good. It was creepy. It was quite intense. The lead actress was also really good in that. I did feel like it got very cliche towards the third act, but it was still a good watch. But I did not expect the second one to be just 10 times better than the original. It's a really, really rare case and a good case because you don't see that often. Usually, the first one's good and then everything just peters off after that. But now this actually elevated the franchise. So I hope in the future we do get a third one because the way this one ends, it opens the doors to this. It will be chaos.
Yeah, nice stuff. Yeah, like I say, you make it sound really interesting, so I might have to give them a watch at some point.
I don't think you necessarily have to watch the first one.
Okay.
Oh no, no, tell.
I probably would anyway, to be honest. My OCD.
Yeah,
I'll probably end
yeah,
up with
you're
watching the
yeah,
first and second.
yeah. They are fun. Like I say, I think that's the best part about from demons that want to like get inside you. But like I say, I true to my saber. I know I just said that, but yeah, I do stay true to well, what I said in my review is that it's amazing how they can make the theme of the film of trauma and what's going through a person's mind the forefront, and they do it so well. I'll let you move. I'll let move on to now to your choice.
Yeah, so my pick is 1978's Dawn of the Dead, one of my favourite horror films. I know people might think it's not actually that scary, but I think the scenario of being stuck inside a mall or a shopping centre in the UK
Mm.
full of zombies is, and I mentioned this in my episode with Sam, absolutely terrifying. Like Dead Rising is basically Dawn of the Dead in a video game. Like they had like rights issues and whatever. Rise all you want. I remember playing that when I was younger, absolutely bricking it every time. But in terms of this film, it's like, yeah, okay, the zombies they do look a bit daft. They're like blue, but I just think though for what they achieved back then in '78 to effects and all the characters, Flyboy. This is one of the reasons why this scares me. Like rewatching this film, like actually for the first time. Sorry, I watched it on my own and I was like, fucking hell, like that is scary. So I do. I mean, this is a spoiler warning, just for reference. So near the end of the film, and shit's hitting the fan. Flyboy, he's like the boyfriend of the female protagonist. He's trying to get back into the safe room, and he ends up getting
Mm.
infected. He gets bitten in the elevator, and then we pan away from him. And then when we come back to him, the elevator doors are shut. Oops, sorry about that. A bit slap the mic. The elevator doors are shut, and then when they open, he's a zombie, but he's green, and he looks
Yeah.
terrifying. He looks like genuinely fucking scary. And I remember watching that, being like, Jesus Christ, like that is top notch work. But then the
Yeah.
the added element onto that is not only he physically looks scary, he remembers where they are. He knows where they are because they barricade a wall, so only the
Mm.
survivors know. If they remove that wall, it leads to the stairs to go up to their safe house. So
Yeah.
he remembers, and he basically gets all the other zombies to follow him to literally their location upstairs. And that
Yeah.
I think that is another element that adds to it, where you're like, fuck that, like
Yeah, man, it's clever, it's original, it's different. So yeah, I remember watching. It's funny you mentioned that. It does like come back into my mind a bit. Yeah, it's very original. We haven't really seen much since, apart from one of the most underrated zombie movies, which was Land of the Dead. They also did something similar with the zombies just having thoughts and everything. Sorry, I know that's completely comparing that to that is not very good for you, but
no, I mean, yeah, I don't mind them changing the game a bit, like with Land of the Dead. They did, and it's the same bloke, George Romero. Like, they do evolve it and whatever. But I
yeah,
think right when it's dialed up a bit, I'm not a bit like, I don't know. But
yeah,
when it's like nuanced a bit and a bit more grounded, I think it worked with this film especially
yeah,
because, like I say, he looks scary, and then it's got the added element of he knows where you are. You know,
yeah,
and it
yeah,
changes like the zombie like opinion, or what's the word I'm looking for, like the zombie, the generic, oh, they're dumb, they're slow, whatever.
yeah,
As soon as
yeah,
you turn, you want to eat and shit. Whereas he's
yeah.
like, actually, I know where you are. I'm coming to get you.
It's sort of like his memories are still there before he fully turns.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And he
it's good.
actually
It's good.
plays a zombie really well. The limp and the walk, the shake, everything.
I think. Yeah, I mean, I think most of those people in those days played the zombie quite well. I remember 19. It's not on my list, but it should be. 1968's Dawn of the Dead, even though people argue that it is still quite dated. I do think it is a little bit dated, but the walk for the zombies are really still, they're very creepy, very slow, very ominous.
Yeah,
So no, to touch on your point about them being blue, I think that's part of the charm. I think that's why people love
yeah,
those movies so much,
yeah,
because you can tell there's a lot of love and attention to detail and care, excuse
yeah,
me,
yeah.
put into it. No, I don't think it's, people can look at that now and go, "Oh god, that's so cheesy." I
Yeah,
don't.
that's what
I
I mean.
look at it and go, "Do you know what? That's what it was about back in the day."
Yeah, I think like newer audiences, like if I was to show this to my fiance or whatever, she'd be a bit like, "God,
Yeah,
that looks stupid." But
yeah,
like, I think people who love horror or aren't fussed or whatever, they know
yeah.
back in the day they tried, and
Mm,
obviously it laid the groundwork for everything that came, like Walking Dead and Shaun of the Dead, literally everything that
yeah.
came from this, like
It's funny you
day.
say that. Go on, sorry. I thought you finished.
No,
Sorry.
I'm just going to say from Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the
Yeah,
Dead and Day of the Dead. Yeah.
but it's funny you touch on that very quickly, because even though it inspired Robert Kirkman for The Walking Dead, George Romero doesn't like the Walking Dead.
Oh, there's no.
He doesn't like. He thinks it's so proper filled with zombies. It's not. He's not wrong, but like I think it's a bit harsh.
Well, I mentioned in the episode with Sam, he has made some stinkers. Like
Yeah,
Land of the Dead
I,
isn't his worst one. It's
I dare you.
that's not his.
One of his best.
No, but you know me with that one. When I was growing up, I was proper like, nah, this is shit. He has made
Yeah.
worse, and they are
Yeah.
bad.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I might have to see
I won't
George
mention it before.
Romero. Yeah, George Romero is one of my favorite directors. I mean, even though I do think he's made some of the best horror movies, zombie movies, sorry, of all time. But like you say, it just shows that fatigue in the genre obviously really probably didn't help him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So so that's a good pick, and I wouldn't dispute that. I think I definitely need to rewatch that. It's been years since I've seen that.
Yeah, yeah.
I know that's on Amazon Prime. There's the extended cut, so I'm going to watch that.
Nice. I
So
have it in
yeah,
4K because I'm a loser.
all right. It's not a loser. It's fucking cool. It's cool. Now with physical media, man, you can't beat it. So my next one is one of my favorites. It's a film that breaks me every time, especially the ending. I'm going for The Mist.
Yeah, good
Um,
choice.
I've read the book. I read the book. The book's not that good, to be honest with you.
Right?
It leaves it very open ended. Whereas this film, I think Frank Darabont did an exceptional job with his ending. I think it's very more conclusive. It's iconic. It's heartbreaking. But what I really love about this film is it's the camaraderie and everyone's put their differences aside to try and survive. And especially now it takes place in an isolated area with unknown. It's just intense as hell. There were so many memorable moments in that movie, and there's some exceptional performances as well.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, Tom Jane is excellent in that movie. Laurie Holden, she was brilliant in the movie. Toby Jones was excellent, and even I can never remember the actress's name, but she plays like the weird priestess lady.
That's what I was about to say. Even the antagonist in
Sub,
the film.
yeah, sublime, exceptional performance. I
Yeah.
showed when I first got together with my fiance. I watched that together, and even she was amazed how brilliant it was, and she was devastated by the ending.
Yeah.
It's and I do cry every time I watch it. It's just so heartbreaking. But yeah, I love The Mist, and also I have it on Blu-ray, but there's a black and white version. Watch that movie in black and white. It is so much better.
Oh,
It is
okay.
incredible. Yeah, I've got it. I'll have to lend it you. It's you would love it. It's actually better in black and white. Which is
All
fun
right.
fact. That's what
Yeah.
he originally
Yeah.
wanted. That's what he originally wanted to. He wanted the film to be black and white, but the studio said that people aren't interested. Younger audiences aren't interested in black and white film, so you have to put it in color. And originally, he was going to turn away from the project, but some people behind the scenes just sort of convinced him to do it. So,
This is the
but
man
he
who
did.
made, but he directed Shawshank. I'm sure he knows what he's on about.
Shawshank.
Frank
Did he
Darabont
direct Green
directed.
Mile? Did he
Yeah.
direct Green Mile? Yes. And he made arguably the best two seasons of the season of Walking Dead, which was season 2, in my
Mm,
opinion. I know that's yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, definitely The Mist. I think I'm glad it gets the recognition it deserves. I know people talk about the ending, but I do think there's a lot more into that movie.
No, yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good choice. I think the mist, the ending. I'm pretty dark. I like a bad ending. I think they stick
Yeah,
with you
same,
more.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and that ending was proper gut wrenching. So,
it was. I remember the first time. Do you know something? It was one of those first movies where, I mean, we watched it when we were sort of getting into film, and I didn't realize films could end bad. That was one of the first films where, like, the bad guy, not the bad guy, but the good guy didn't sort of win. He lost everything by the end of it. So it was, yeah, it was very impactful. Although, did you watch the TV show on Netflix?
No, I didn't.
All right, I'll very quickly. It's one of the worst things ever. It said it tried to stay true to the. It said it tried to stay true to the book, but it did nothing like the book. It tried to do its own thing, and it just fell so flat. There was supposed to be a second season, but it was that bad that they just finished it. And you know what? I'm glad, to be totally honest.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'll check that out then. Okay. My next pick is is I mean, sort of class as a horror. It's a surprise horror, and you recommended me this one, so props to you. Bone
Bone.
Tomahawk.
Yeah, boy.
Would you consider that horror?
It's the first half, the last 40 minutes of half,
That's what I'm
definitely,
saying.
hundred
That's what
percent.
I'm
Goes from
saying.
a western
It,
to a horror.
yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. And like you said, they're two of my favorite genres. And I wasn't like when I saw the tags on IMDb, it was like folk horror, horror, whatever. I think horror is very subjective. It's like,
Yeah,
well, what sort of which way we swinging with this? It's definitely fucking horror. Like I was
yeah,
horrified. I was like,
yeah,
and it's very rare. It's very rare, like for me to not say feel emotion because I do, where I'm like genuinely like disgusted. I was just like, man,
yeah,
this is disgusting. And I
yeah,
felt like shocked.
yeah.
Everybody, if you haven't watched that scene and that film, like it's a hidden gem. Should have mentioned that in the underrated ones. To be honest, this one is
We should have, yeah, should have,
yeah.
yeah,
This is a bonus one for that episode. Yeah, this film is severely underrated
yeah,
because it's got practical effects like using the use of blood squibs and body parts flying off. Like really good characters in there, good performances, and like you said, the last like 40 minutes, it just totally turns.
yeah. And to add on your points, talk about practical effects. One of the things that really elevates a film for me is when they shoot things on location, and they shot the
Yeah.
entire movie on location.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, failed to mention that. Yeah, the scenery,
No,
everything, like set design, costumes, bang up job.
superb.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a great pick. That is a great pick. I love Bone Tomahawk. It's one of those big surprises where you hear it talked about because there's a certain thing that happens when you've watched it. I was similar to you. I'll try not to go over the old ground because you just basically said it. I had once that scene finished, I had to pause and take a break because I was genuinely traumatized. And I
yeah,
thought, you know what, this movie's got me now. Like, I mean, it had me for the most part, but this, I thought, wow, we are in a new level. We're in new territory here. And yeah, that last half an hour was intense as hell.
yeah. I'd agree with that. Yeah, and like a lot of people say, like, oh, the ending, like I just did, to be fair. But I think even if that ending didn't happen or that scene didn't happen, this film would still be good on its own. That is
Yeah,
just like
definitely.
an
The
added,
performances, yeah,
yeah, that's just like another added layer where you're like, God damn, like So
yeah.
that'd
And
be my choice.
like you say, and to finish off your point, but I think the cast in that do brilliantly. Russell, Matthew
Matthew
Fox in
Fox, yeah,
particular. Matthew Fox was fantastic. Yeah, and also I think the limitations on music and the use of sound in that movie as well. A sublime movie. Yeah, definitely recommend Bone Tomahawk. That's a good, great pick. My next one, this might be a bit controversial, really, because it was very subjective when it came out. I'm going to go with it because I do have a quick story to go with it, and you know this. I've told you before. In a Violent Nature. I do love this movie. I know there's a lot of people that don't like it, and that's absolutely fine. It's one of those where it is one of those where you do love it or you do hate it. And I was on the side of loving it, but obviously there was a story as to why. I just really appreciated we had a different POV following the killer. And I know people probably say it's really boring, nothing happens, it's slow. But I think it's nice to switch things up a bit and do something slightly different and have everything from the perspective of the killer, regardless if he doesn't talk. I think he was it sort of like made you guess what was going to happen next, where he was going. But at the same time, I thought it was beautifully shot. I think the sound design was great because there was no music in the movie. You can easily argue that there's a couple of points for him to get to point A to point B, but I've had a really good time with it. I appreciated the uniqueness of it, and also the kills in that are absolutely brutal.
Yeah, I'll give you that. The kills are brutal. It's a shame with this because I remember you recommended it me, and I think I offended you when you saw my score because I just I really wanted to like it, like you said. I like the POV thing. That sounded interesting. It's almost like a Jason esque sort of killer. He's mute,
Yeah,
doesn't talk. He's got a weapon. It's in the forest. Uh,
yeah, very
but
heavily inspired.
but I don't know. I just think I was just a bit like left a bit flat.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you saying that.
Yeah, and I think the ending, like, I know what they were going for, but it was just really like dragged out, properly like dragged out. I think,
Yeah, I really like the ending. I will admit, I liked it.
but yeah,
That's what I'm
you got
saying.
it.
Sorry, you said it earlier perfectly. All horror is subjective, and I knew that people were going to hate this movie or they're going to love it. And if you're on the side of, I don't want to say you hate it, but you
Did
didn't
enjoy it.
particularly like it, but I was on the side of I really enjoyed it. Just
Yeah,
to jump in, my side story
yeah,
for
that's what I was
people
gonna say. Yeah,
watching. So in my cinemas, it is spoilers for it. It's the most brutal kill in the movie. What happens is the killer comes behind a woman who's doing her yoga on the hill, and I kind of felt sorry for her because she didn't really do nothing bad
you
to deserve
kind of
the
did,
death that she got. Yeah, yeah.
kinda.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
great.
it's really brutal. The killer uses a hook from Saw, and he sort of hooks the woman's insides and twists her. It's very graphic. It's very bloody. But there was two ladies sitting about 5 or 6 rows in front of me, and the woman had pretty much a panic attack where she got up and screamed. And she was like, "I can't do this. I can't do this. This is too much." And she ran out. She was terrified. She screamed her head off, and me and the bloke couple of like a row or two down, looked back up at me, and I looked at him, and we just started laughing. Yeah, I felt sorry for her. I didn't think he was that impactful, but yeah, she ran out screaming. So I hope she's all right. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was one of those unique experiences. But I always wanted to see that happen, where because you hear stories like we use Hitchcock's Psycho for example. People ran out screaming. They needed paramedics. The Exorcist, similar thing. I kind of wanted that experience. So the fact that I actually got it kind of enhanced the cinema experience for me.
yeah, and it shows that it does actually happen because you always see those clips online where it's like we recorded the audience reaction and it's, all that, and people are
And it's
just like
fake as
themselves.
hell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like yeah.
And
Whereas,
then sorry, and they're like this as well. They're going like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
cringe. It's cringe.
I can see why that elevated it for you because yeah, it had a genuine negative reaction, but a positive for you in a way.
Yeah, definitely. And also, yeah, did I care about the characters? No, I knew they were bait. That's fine.
Red shirts,
Didn't
yeah.
connect to any of them, but yeah, I just came for the ride, and I came out enjoying it a lot more than what I thought. And I do think it's a very unique horror, but I do understand why it's one of those where you say you love it or you hate it.
Yeah,
I loved
like you
it.
say, subjective. Yeah, it's not one of those where like I will get as angry because you know what I mean. I'm just like wasn't for me, but if you enjoyed it, fair play. So,
Yeah.
but I would get angry if you disagreed with this one, which I know you don't. Evil Dead specifically. I'm going with the first one.
Oh shit! No, I'm joking. It's amazing.
I bet I know where you live, boy. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I say I go with the first one just because he kickstarted it all off, and it was literally like a project for Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell and Ted Raimi. I can't forget his brother.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
yeah, and like you said, I'm practical effects sucker, man. Like this film, people might think it looks dated, or whatever, but I don't. I really don't think it looks dated. Some of the when
No.
they turn into deadites, and especially the one in the basement, like, fucking hell, it's
Terrible.
nightmare fuel. And
Time it.
yeah, it's timeless, man. And obviously, Ash Williams, Bruce Campbell, the first time we saw him on screen, he just grows from there. I loved him in the first one, and he only gets better and better from
Yeah.
there. And like the story expands, and it's like quite well, it is a big piece of media now. They've got shows and reboots or remakes, whatever.
It's definitely in the conversation for one of the best horror franchises. I definitely would put it in my top five.
Yeah, yeah. I think I would definitely put it in the top five. Yeah, it's like and it created like a whole new camera shot. With the like whooshy sort of
It's sort of
um
like the demon POV type
the
thing.
demon
Yeah,
POV. Yeah,
yeah. 'Cause they
yeah,
used it in Doctor Strange as well, didn't they?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it
Yeah,
is sort
just
of
a
like the
typical
joys
Sam
from the show.
Raimi.
So yeah, it was one of the first that I saw, like set in a cabin in the woods, and people have referenced it or paid homage or tried to do it better and whatever. And for me personally, I know the second film is a bit confusing because it's basically like a remake of the first one because obviously they got money for the making the first one. He wanted to make a better one, so it's sort of
Yeah,
like the first two are like the same, but they're not. But I think I prefer the first one because it's like the first time, and I think the charm to it.
yeah.
Um, yeah, but I love Evil Dead, as you know.
So I'm same boat as you. Like I say, I love Evil Dead. I think it's one of the best horror franchise choices out there. Just my little point of like my opinion on it as well. I love dedication from Bruce Campbell. He did everything himself. He flung himself around. I've seen behind the scene footage of him, and Raimi says something to him to try this, and he does it. He
Yeah.
flips himself over. The dedication to the role, it cannot be taken away from him. And I wish Bruce Campbell got more respect for what he deserves in role being cameos in movies. I know he's been in a couple of American-based things, which I've never really had the
It's
interest
more
in
like a
watching. I was always Evil Dead. Yeah,
yeah, it's more like a
yeah,
B type actor.
yeah. And
Yeah.
also as well, to touch on the shows, Ash vs Evil Dead is one of the greatest shows ever. I think if we were to do a list of our favorite TV shows, it would definitely be up there for me. Every episode,
Yeah.
there was something new and unique. It was incredible, but that's different stuff, different day.
Yeah, ended too soon because we went to a Comic Con and someone tried to meet him. Didn't quite work out, but
It'll happen.
but
It'll
yeah,
happen one day.
that's all right. But we got to listen to him talk.
Yeah,
So
we went to
I
the Q&A
take it.
after, didn't we? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, fascinating stuff. So yeah, that'd be my choice for my third pick. Third, yeah,
yeah. I think there's a theme here. I'm going for more modern horrors, and you seem to be going for the older one or classic ones, which is fine. That's great. So I'll finish. We do say we do it four, won't we? So my four, the last one I'm going to go for is, I think I mentioned it a few times to you. No one will save you. I do. I think I mentioned it in the previous episode of being on the underrated list. I think well, it was on the list. I don't know if I can't remember if I mentioned it. It's like Signs meets Home Alone. It was incredible. The first opening half an hour of this movie is intense. It did something different for a change. The lead in it plays Abby in The Last of Us. No, but she was excellent in the movie. Very minimal dialogue, sort of like very thriller-esque as well. Really suspenseful, really good action set pieces as well. And there were some really cool shots in this film as well. The ending can be a bit metaphorical, which I'm not really massive on metaphorical endings, like leaving the audience for interpretation. I'm one of maybe I call me stupid. I just like how are you ending your movie and like end it the way you don't leave it for the audience to guess because I don't personal reference. I just don't like it. But
so I think if
the
it's done
main
right.
say
Sorry,
again, sorry.
sorry, just jumping. I was saying that
That's all
I
right.
think as long as it's done right, and like the things ending, that's ambiguous.
Yeah, but yeah, if you do that and leave it ambiguous and leave it for your own interpretation, yeah, that's fair. But then if something's like in front of you but not fully explained, it's left for your interpretation. That's done kind of the thing I don't particularly like. I'm all for ambiguous endings, but trying to leave a metaphorical message to end your movie, I don't think it necessarily works. And to be fair, like you said, unless it's done right, and that's the only gripe I have against it is just the final scene in the movie. I was a bit like that's how you end it. Like you had three solid acts, and the final scene it just sort of like bumped it down for me because I had it at a 9. To be fair, I was loving it. I thought this movie was amazing, and then that last scene just bumped it down to an 8 for me. But it's still a great watch. It's, again, 6.2 on IMDb rate on IMDb. It's on Disney Plus. I recommend people go and watch it. It needs more recognition.
So yeah, my fourth and final choice would be An American Werewolf in London.
Oh
Yeah. Um,
yeah,
Again, I think this is like more leaning towards comedy, but it is a better werewolf in London, funny enough. Going around, killing people in brutal fashion. But this one is timeless. This, like I mentioned, again, I sound like a bloody broken record, but practical effects in this one are amazing. They are up there
that's
with one of
sound
the best. That impressive that Michael Jackson got the director to do the Thriller music video. Fun fact.
fair play.
Yeah, but again, another one from Griffin Dunn, who I mentioned in the last episode, After Hours. He's in some good stuff. He plays his, well, I don't want to spoil it, but it's sort of, I think it's been out for fucking years, so he plays like his friend who dies, and every time he sees him, he's decaying and decaying.
Oh,
And
I
like
love that.
when you see him like that, that is, it's fucking scary, man.
Yes,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and like I said, like the werewolf, but the overall story, it is funny. You do enjoy these two characters. It's witty, and like the atmosphere it builds, and the soundtrack to this, especially like the ending, it
It's
sums it up
great.
perfectly. Bad Moon Rising, yeah, brilliant.
To jump on that, right? I think American Werewolf in London. If I rewatch that, because I have that at a 9, I can guarantee you, if I rewatch that again, I'll probably bump it to a 10. Like
Yeah,
I don't necessarily have a problem. I think maybe I was a bit nitpicky on the day, but I did think the practical effect for the werewolf, whilst we love practical effects, I did think it was a touch dated, especially the opening scene on the moors. when he attacked him. I don't know. For me, it was just a little bit off, but I think everything else. I love the relationship building between the nurse and the main lead. Like you
Yeah,
say, the best mate is turning up. I think it's one of the funniest aspects of the film because he's just like rinsing him. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't necessarily have many problems with that movie. But also, as well, to touch about American Werewolf in London, this show's gone on Ice Nine Kills. They do one of my favorite tracks of theirs. It's called "Love Bites," which is the song for American Werewolf in London.
Oh, okay.
It's a
All right.
fantastic song. Yeah, definitely worth giving that a listen to as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think those, to be fair, they're all pretty solid choices all around.
Yeah, yeah. I like how we actually went from me having more of a modern pick and you having more of an older,
Yeah,
classics
yeah.
as they were. But yeah, I think if we were to
Mine is
put
no Tom
lists
Holland.
together, well, I think if we were to put lists together, I do think yours would easily, be better than mine. I do
Personal
appreciate
preference.
modern horror. Yeah, but not only that, I mean, I appreciate the older horrors, and I do love most of the older horror films. But I do think people seem to gloss over modern horror. I know we do have a lot of films that retread the same old ground. They do nothing new. The Ryan's Paws, they're more CGI based, and etc. etc. But I think at the same time, there are also a lot of modern horrors that are superb, and I don't think they're giving them all recognition. So those are the reasons why I picked the ones I did because I think they do need a bit more love instead of getting slated on all the time.
Yeah, that's fair. And you know what, as well, I actually rewatched Hereditary because I was so confident that you'd choose that. Because you said in the last episode that's like that's got to be one of your favorites. So I rewatched that
I
for you.
was no, no, no. I was going to pick it, but I wanted to rewatch it first, and I didn't have time
Uh,
to. So
okay.
you can always put. You know what? We can always do an episode where we put each other's films that we hate or whatever and disagree on, and we can literally watch them and then just go butt heads again. But
Yeah,
no,
definitely.
I think they're solid choices, man. I think there's horror does can do so much, but I just know it doesn't. Only recently, the last few years, I feel like people have really took the horror concept and really made some really good original ideas. But there
Yeah,
was a
like I said
phase
at the
where we
start,
were getting, yeah, I do think we did have a phase where we were getting the same old shit.
yeah, it was just shit. Yeah. So yeah, some of the worst ones for us then. I'll go first if you don't mind.
Yeah, go
I got
for
a few. I won't. I won't jump into these in like really specific detail, but tarot, whatever the hell you want to call it,
it.
2024. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, fucking bollocks.
awful,
Talk about
awful.
modern horror making a rise. That could have fucking sent it back. But luckily, I don't think anybody even bothered with it like too much. I hope not, anyway. And if you do, please make sure you're okay because this was bollocks and in perfect time. Fucking hell, you can't make this shit up, man. Honestly, yeah, tarot, shit. What do you think of it? Yeah,
Do you know something? I think the concept is a 10 out of 10. The execution is a 1. Very cliched. Poor performances, really poor editing as well. A really poor story, but like I say, the concept was there, and I don't think for the concept we were given, and compared to the kills that we had, it was just unbearable. And as I say, you talk about cheap jump scares. This film had is about 5 or 6, and I was eye rolling for most of the movie, and also the twist at the end where Ned, I refer to him as Ned 'cause I don't know the
yeah,
actor's
Ned.
name.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it is a spoiler. Don't watch it, but as the fact that he actually lives against that clown thing that was chasing him in the lift, which again concept was good, but man alive, it never explains it.
no, no,
It's made for a cheap laugh at the end.
yeah,
It's a bit like a big fu, isn't it?
yeah.
Really?
Stupid. Yeah, I was waiting for like the explanation that as to why, and it's just like you just don't get one.
No, you don't
Like,
know.
like,
It's one of the worst films, and it's like I say, it's a shame. 'Cause believe it or not, and I was cautiously optimistic. I heard the reviews wasn't great. Like some of the reviews I read, but when watching it myself, because I really liked the look of the concept. But yeah, this was terrible.
yeah, shocking. Oh, go on. So I was
So
about to jump into mine. Go on.
no, no. So one of my worst films ever made. I have it on my letterbox. I have 6 films. I have 1 out of 10. This is one of them. It's called The Gallows. I remember you probably, I think you might have logged it. I don't know, you have watched it. With me and our friend James, we went to the cinema to see this and we were shouting at the screen for 90 minutes because it's a found footage film in a high school where a lad accidentally kills himself on the gallows, funny enough, I believe. See, it's been that long. I remember the basis of the film, but it's a found footage, but you couldn't really watch much because there was that much shaky cam. You actually didn't know what was going on, where they were. I just remember walking out of the theater. I mean, I had a cinema card at the time. I was tempted to ask for a freaking refund. Yeah, it was easily one of the worst films. Very poorly acted, very poorly filmed. Story was really basic. Not enough meat to it. Yeah, very cheap jump scares as well. The last jump scare, the final shot of the film, we laughed. It was that bad.
Was that 2015? Sorry.
Came out in 2015. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
it
think I've
was.
watched it.
It might have been me and a friend who went to see it at the time, but I just remember walking out of the theater just really angry that I wasted an hour and a half of my life. Yeah, you know what? You go into a film, you go, I understand what you were trying to do, but this, I couldn't understand what they were going for. Like, yes, you had an sort of not really interesting story, but you had something that piqued your interest a little bit, and the fact that there was barely any meat on it, and the acting was so poor, so bad. I remember being the teaser trailer for it, thinking, "Wow, this might be all right." This looks good. They was from the producers of the Paranormal Activity, so you're thinking, on the success of that at the time, you think, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, they know what they're
But
doing.
nah, this was awful. This was awful, and I was thinking for the sake of this to rewatch it, but I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Don't do it if it's no fun. Fuck it. Unless you're drinking. That's the only way. That's like a coping mechanism for some of this shit. But my pick, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Do you know what's funny? I nearly put that on mine.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's just a total tonal change from the first one. I wasn't
definitely.
expecting it. Like, the first one ended, and it doesn't sequel bait or anything, but there's room to do something. And like what they chose to do with this, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs, obviously, because it's 1986, whatever. But I don't know what happened. I don't know like I said, the ins and outs of what happened. But they could have literally done anything else but this. Literally anything else.
Yeah,
Like, how is it from Texas Chainsaw? Your finale is set under a cave sort of thing.
it was a cave carnival fair
Yeah,
thing, wasn't it?
with Dennis Hopper with a fucking piece of dynamite. You're
Oh,
like,
it's just
how did you get from that to that? I don't.
how'd you get from the most psychological, intense horror movies of all time, and arguably probably one of the best horror movies of all time,
Yeah,
and then your sequel was that, and the
yeah.
fact they made, although who's the brother, one with the
Chop,
is it the
chop,
Vietnam vet?
chop, top in it. I think.
Top. Oh,
Chop.
unbearable, unbearable.
Oh, he died in the first one.
I don't remember, to be honest.
I
To be totally
swear.
honest.
I swear he dies in the first one. Yeah, he does get hit by the fucking lorry.
I don't know, mate. If it's it's been years since I watched. I watched actually no, tell a lie. I watched Texas Chainsaw last year, and I can't remember that bit.
Died. Yeah, he's dead in. He dies in that one, and this one, I swear, like the parade is. No, that's right. I know it now. He's not in the second one. It backs me up because it's fucking bollocks. Not worth remembering.
Mhm.
But yeah, they introduced another brother who's carrying the remaining, like the corpse of the other one. That's why I was getting confused.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I remember now.
and they're
Yeah,
parading this fucking corpse about. But um,
yeah.
yeah, just a shame. I mean, I haven't watched like the remakes or any. Like, I don't know if there's a third one or not, but I have no oomph to watch them. I just think like I'll just leave
No,
it to the very first
did you ever watch the 2004 remake? Really? All right, it's worth a watch. It's actually really good.
one. Okay, maybe.
There's an amazing shot which I won't spoil for you, but no, I won't say anything. Just spoil it. Watch it and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Um,
Halloween.
yeah. I mean, it is a massive, massive step down, and that doesn't help. And it felt like it tried to do what the 80s did. It was very like unnecessarily colourful. Like there was random greens and reds, and it didn't. It fit the aesthetic of it.
Like radio
It didn't
stations and
really
stuff.
make. Yeah. The aesthetic of it didn't really make sense compared to the gritty vibe you got from the first one. And yeah, I agree. The performances are so cringy. The chase scene at the end goes on forever. It's so
Yeah,
poorly done. But
yeah. Because I swear I heard an argument saying like the premise from the first one it sort of does allude to the second one. So these are
yeah.
cannibals eating people alive. They're
Hmm.
not up for a fucking laugh. You know what I mean? Like I know they're
Yeah.
insane, but yeah, I didn't get the vibe that they could be, oh, you fucking silly bastard, like all that sort of stuff. They're
Yeah.
literally killing people with chainsaws and everything, horrible people.
You didn't expect a comedy from this.
No,
You expected an intense thriller or drama like the first one was. Like the first one was psychological. Yes, it was a bit of a slow burn, but
I
it's
think the world building
psychologically.
that brilliant.
yeah, the world building on that.
The very, very first like shot. Yeah, opening
Yeah,
shot,
yeah.
like, yeah. Yeah, yeah, let down.
So my third pick, probably a bit controversial to you. So when I had a look on my ratings, one film I wanted to talk about, which actually I saw your score and you have it a lot higher than me. Really, personally, unnecessarily high. I'm going for Crawl.
Crawl.
Crawl's
Oh, yeah.
crap. Yeah,
Uh,
I watched. No, no. Right, the CG is awful. The crockett is very predictable. The jump scares in this movie are just so cringy and annoying, and the common sense seems to just go out the window. Yeah, don't tell me that a crocodile or an alligator we would have caught it chasing her. She sort of like can't think straight. No, the common sense sort of went out the window when the tornado hit because she was making so many dumb decisions that just advanced the plot, but it was so stupid and so annoying. By the time the third act rolled around and having the big finale with this alligator, I couldn't give a shit. In fact, I wanted the alligator to fucking eat them at one point. I was so done with this movie. And I remember I was tempted to rewatch this because when I saw your score, I thought, no, I must be missing something. But I remember sitting there at the end of it thinking, why have, you have some movies that you just sit down and think, why have I bothered? Like, this was one of those movies.
I think, like I said in the last episode, there's some things you can turn your brain off and just watch for what it is and have done fun. Like, and I won't really argue this point because I know a lot of people are like, quite rightly, it is stupid. And like you said, the premise, yeah, it's daft. But I think, for how long is it? About an hour and 27 minutes. You can literally just, turn off your brain. There's a little bit of a backstory. It's not like anything incredible. It is convenient. The woman's a swimmer. That obviously
Yeah,
helped.
yeah.
There's loads of like shit like that. But I think, I just, it must have caught me on a good day. I don't really know what to say about that. But,
Yeah, you must have been in a really good mood to give it that. You gave it like an 8, didn't you?
I
You gave
know.
it a 7, sorry. Mate, you
But
gave more than me. I think I gave it a 3 or 4.
yeah, no, same with your point though about rewatching it. Like I said, I rewatched Hereditary, and it wasn't as bad as I remembered because I gave it a 4 first time I watched it.
Hot.
But having rewatched it again, I bumped it up to a 6. It's like above average, but I think the best stuff is like the start and the middle. I think it did lose me at the end. The
Mm,
part where literally the Hereditary side of it like unfolds. That's where I zoned out a bit. To be honest, I was like, this is getting a bit dumb. It's just like it just
fair
lost
enough.
me a bit, and it still doesn't. It's still where she's going. It's still nah,
Oh, still, I
and
love
she's
that bit.
flying about, and she's going. It's just like, and just
I
random
love
naked people. It's like, oh, it's a penis.
I love how we've gone from Crawl back to Hereditary.
I know, but because you was on about rewatching it, and you said, "Oh, maybe you might have missed something or whatever." But yeah,
Yeah, no, fair enough. Now, I think when it comes to Crawl, sorry, yeah, there are so many. Just to finish that off, there's so many conveniences, and one of my have tropes in horror movies, which really gets on my nerves, is when like someone's swimming and then like the thing's coming up behind them and it's trying to build this tension of oh, is he gonna get her, and then he just snaps at the last minute, and
yeah,
you're just
yeah, yeah,
like, ugh, really?
yeah. And they get
It's
nitro
just
out of
things like
nowhere.
that. Yeah, and get not yeah nitro out of it. Like, really, oh, that's very convenient for our
Yeah,
final
yeah.
third act.
I'm
Yeah,
supposed to be
I'm
like
not a
defending
massive
this
fan
film,
of
but no,
Crawl.
it does have flaws. It does have flaws, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, but have you got
Yeah.
another one?
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah, I do. I mentioned this one in the episode with Sam because I must have rated it higher than I originally thought, but it is bad. And if I was to watch
Fair.
it again, it would be atrociously rated. The Thing, 2011 or 10, whatever. Luckily, I mean, it doesn't. It could have fucked with the way it tries to. The audacity this film has. It does try to. It tries to like introduce something in the franchise with the metal things, which like there's no mention of that in the original. But actually, it's not the original. Sorry, Mister Nerds out there, because there's a 50s version, the Thing from Outer Space, which is a bit meh. But the 1982 thing, which I'm talking about here, the whole metal stuff is just bollocks, and it tries to like add a layer to it, but it's like there's no need for it. They had the
No,
setup where it's like a little tease in the start of the thing. They go to that base, the outpost, and it's like, oh, they're all dead, and you're thinking, you know, it's another layer of storytelling. Like, well, what happened here? And I think
yeah,
whatever you think in your head is better than what they produced on the film, because
fair
like what
enough.
they did is like shit, and the
Yeah,
CGI is atrocious, like absolutely awful. I think I could do a better job. Sorry,
I haven't seen it.
I'll let you have a chat.
No. I haven't seen it, but I think
You haven't seen
personally,
it?
I haven't seen. the 2011. Is it 2010? Wait, the Thing remake prequel. Well, I
Oh,
haven't seen it.
oh, sorry, that's me
You know,
just going.
I've seen the Thing. I went to the cinema, the
Yeah,
Halloween
no,
thing. You
the
know, I've seen.
thing. I'm on about the.
Yeah.
Well, they're both called the thing. That's the problem. The 2010, the shit thing. Let's call it
The
that
shit
one.
thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Now I
thought you've
haven't
watched
seen
the
it.
shit thing. Okay.
I know you gave me the Blu-ray, the dual film pack.
Yeah,
No, I haven't got around to it, and part of the reason is for everything that you've just said. I just don't. I
don't need to.
mean, the original 90. Well, I say the original, the 1982 Thing cooked so well, and I regard it as one of the best horror movies
My
ever
favorite
made.
horror
I
film.
don't. I yeah. Fair, there you go. So I don't want to touch it. To touch it, I don't want. I don't want. Kind of part of me doesn't want to know. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, I'll have it. I'll own it. I probably will have to watch it eventually because, like you say, my OCD, knowing that it's there, and I haven't watched it. But I think if you were going to do something like that and as iconic as that, the one thing you could have done is not to mess with anything. I'm going to use a cooking analogy here. You got everything in the pan ready. It's all you don't need to touch it. You just need to put a little bit of seasoning, your own little bit of touch on it, and that's all you need to do.
yeah,
Why would you want to then rip apart some of the lore or some of the things that the first one did? Now you're trying to like retcon it. Things like that you just don't need to do, and also you're going to lose your audience, especially fans of the franchise of the first film. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, there's just no point to it. So, yeah, I'll say I haven't seen it. I probably will watch it eventually, but yeah, I'll probably end up watching it with no expectations. Do you know what? I might wait to see when you're free and we can watch it together.
God, don't do that to me. Jesus.
Well, you know, when you say you want to do a Thor: Love and Thunder, have a drink tonight. Yeah, I might pick the 2011 Thing for you now.
Yeah, well, you have to get me some drinks for that one. Jesus. Yeah.
Fair
So,
enough.
yeah. So that I think that's probably one of the worst films I've watched. Purely like I said, it tried to sabotage it, man. But yeah, but I'll just stop it myself there. It's bollocks. We'll just move along.
So this one, I'm gonna decide. I'm gonna pick. It might seem a bit random, but I'll explain why. I've picked Grave Encounters 2. It's the first one was a found footage when they go into the asylum and they're making a paranormal show.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, you could easily argue you know what? I think it's really good. It's
Mm.
it's doesn't rely on jump scares. So this is one of my points why it's one of the worst. So the first one doesn't rely on jump scares. It builds up tension, it builds up atmosphere, and it pays off really well. Yes, there are a couple of cliches in the third act, but overall, it does a really good job. Performances are really good in it as well. I felt very claustrophobic in there. Every turn of the camera, I was, cautious looking in the shadows. Really effective horror movie. The second one, very cliched. It just takes a massive shit on the first one. It's sort of like I don't know the correct term, but it's basically the second one is did the Grave Encounters movie actually happen? And this guy tries to figure out if the actual movie, like it's saying that this
What's like a
movie
hoax or something?
kind of, yeah, or like this movie was made and what happened to the original, and this guy investigates and gets his mates and they actually go back to the asylum to disprove that it ever happened or something along those lines. And it was very cliched. It did the opposite of the first one. Instead of building tension, it's relied on cheap jump scares. The performances are terrible. The lead actor in that, he gives one of the worst performances I've seen in a horror movie. Not the worst, but one of the worst. And it just relies on your typical found footage tropes, like something turns around, something screams at the camera, and then the camera goes flying, and then you hit it on the floor, and you see a little bit. It goes into those cliches, and they also spoilers for it, but I don't recommend watching it. They bring back the main protagonist from the first one, who
Oh
was
yeah,
captured at the end, or something happened to him. We weren't
yeah,
entirely sure, and he was stuck in the basement of the asylum, and he's been like reliving the same thing over and over. And then he does this. There's such a stupid third act where there's some sort of portal that that connects the asylum to the spirit world and all that crap, and he tries to use it. He betrays our main protagonist to try and get back, and then he gets sucked into this hellhole thing. It's so stupid. It really pissed me off. They tried to expand on the lore and just completely, if everything they built from the first one, it just teared it apart. And it's a massive shame. That's why I consider it one of the worst, because like you just said about the thing, you take something, all you got to do is add a bit of seasoning, and then you got your own recipe. But instead, they just flipped out of the pan and go, we'll make this random crap. And that's what they pretty much did. So yeah.
but yeah, but yeah, yeah. And I like the first one. I think that was like a hidden gem. Yeah, it's enjoyable. There's like you say some good
It's
bits in there.
there was, yeah. I mean, when you talk about found footage films, I mean, we mentioned the last episode about Lake Mungo being one of the best found footage films made. I'm not gonna lie, I probably put Grave Encounters in the conversation. I'm not saying it's one of the best found footage films made. I'm not saying it's the best horror movie made, but it's certainly well done.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, it goes on to our next segment for jump scares. I'm going to add something, and I don't mean to chuck it on you last minute. But jump
Okay.
scares / unsettling scenes. So, like we mentioned last episode, with like Mum, how it gets to you. Just if you think of
Okay.
any, if you don't think of any, it's fine. Because I
No,
think I
I've
got
got.
like two.
Funny enough, there's two here that are more or less unsettling scenes. There are one or two jump scares, but yeah. So no, I'm
Yeah.
happy. I'm happy to do that.
Because I think you're like me, like with jump scares. They don't really make us jump. The reason why I jump is because it's like something, the
Yeah.
tone, I mean, the music or whatever, just flip that shit up. Mate, I'm
Yeah.
fucking jumping, like, you know. So, but like, man, like nowadays, I know I can anticipate when it's going to come, so it doesn't like really make me jump as much. But there is one here which is sort of like a jump scare, but it's also really unsettling. So, and it's like Grave Encounters because it's called Gonjiam Haunted Asylum. It's a similar sort of
Yes, I haven't watched that, but that has been recommended by many horror like people I watch on TikTok, social media. They always bring that one up.
yeah, South Korean. I tell you what, side note, South Korea is like probably my second favorite. I'd say it's like a genre in itself. Like their filmmaking, fucking excellent. So yeah,
Yeah, I'd
sorry,
agree with
side
that.
note there. Yeah, with Gonjiam, Haunted Asylum, a crew of horror web series travels to an abandoned asylum for a live broadcast. Soon encounter much more than they expect, deeper inside the nightmarish old building. So, like, yeah, it's pretty much like this, like a webcam, the GoPros, whatever. They like alternate between the crew. I don't want to spoil it because obviously you haven't seen it, and I would recommend watching this. There's a
Yeah,
part
please
where
don't spoil.
there's a dark room. Obviously, it's dark, and the
Hmm.
headset's on. It's dark. Okay, Jack, we get it's dark, and she's looking at this thing, and she tries to move away from it, but then it follows her. But
Oh
it does
man.
it in a way, and if anybody's seen it, they'll know. Do it in a way where you're just waiting. You're like, it's gonna run. It's gonna do it. It's gonna do it. And then he may or may not have done it, but that scene alone, it was amazing. Like just the tension, and you just like I say, just waiting for it to happen. Class, and like everybody, like you said on TikTok, recommend it to watch it. You have a good
Yeah,
time.
it's. I believe it's on Prime Video. I'll probably will have to check that out sooner rather than later. Yeah, 'cause it gets to a point where people keep mentioning when when people mention it enough, you just think, yeah, I think I need to sit and watch this now.
Yeah.
So my first pick, you're gonna think this is so random, was I'm going with Lord of the Rings, Bilbo's Scream in the Fellowship.
Mm. Yeah,
Absolutely
man.
one of the first films we ever saw on the big screen. That scream is engraved
Nice.
into my brain. It is
Yeah.
terrifying. And I think because it's a powerful scene in a way, because Bilbo is sort of the father figure to Frodo throughout the first act of the film. And then when he does that and looks like he's going to attack him, it shows Bilbo's mental state, but also it shows the power of the ring, and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
sets up the stakes quite
Spot on.
well. But also the fact that it's a very effective jump scare as well. And I remember sitting in the theater being terrified, and every time I rewatch it, I'm mentally preparing myself for that moment because I know it's going to make me jump, and it does it every single time. Excellent.
Yeah.
That's how you use a jump scare to the fullest effect.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Yeah. I won't complain about that one. And like I said, you mentioned you can hear him, but I can see him. Like his
Yeah.
face, like distortion and everything. It's like, oh man.
Yeah.
Ah, that's a good shout. I didn't think of that one. What I've gone for is a bit more mainstream, The Exorcist, because I do have childhood trauma from The Exorcist.
From who, I wonder.
Some fucking bastard, right? Yeah. Uh,
Not,
so
I'm
this
not
is
sorry.
Yeah, just a side note. Obviously, I didn't like the look. Oh, I must have been about how old? 11, 12, 13. Young.
No, you probably,
Uh,
yeah, you're young.
yeah. And obviously, YouTube back in 2000s, jump scares galore, Exorcist, whatever. Yeah, you're watching a fucking tutorial about how to bake a cake, and all of a sudden you got something screaming at you. So I was victim to those jump scares quite a lot. And seeing that girl just scream, cut up to shit, just horrifying.
Mhm.
'Cause obviously, Gaz picked up on it and decided, like, one day, I woke up in the morning and I'm groggy and whatever. He's calling my name and he has this magazine with the fucking girl. He's pointed it right at my face. So when I've got up, I've shit a brick. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, thanks for that one. So that's why I hadn't
Oh
watched it
dear.
for years. But then when I did watch it, I watched it in VR. That's my first
Cool.
time watching it in VR, and then I watched it on my own at the cinema.
You're a brave
Like
boy.
What? Yeah, I know. But yeah, the Exorcist girl, Regan, that's her name. Yeah, yeah. Well, you see her slow like deterioration, and by the time she's like this fully possessed demon, shit she does, the faces she pulls, she turns her head, and the one that I'm going for is when she fucking runs down the stairs like a crab at the State of the Blue.
Yeah,
She just
yeah,
fucking darts down the stairs and she just like vomits and like by the camera.
yeah,
Nightmare fuel. Yeah,
yeah. Mental flashbacks.
yeah. No, but every time you see it, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean I've watched The Exorcist for the first time, believe it or not, last year. The first time I ever watched it. I didn't think it was that scary. I didn't think it was that. I said it was good, but it never terrified me. But she definitely, made me uncomfortable. But she gives a really, really good performance. In fairness to her, yeah, I think practical effects as well. You talk about it. Yeah, it was very, very impactful for the day. But yeah, I'm not as massive on The Exorcist as most people.
I think it's got a good story behind it, like with the priest. Like,
Yeah,
they,
everything with the priest was decent. I just still can't get the ending. I just don't know how he managed to make that leap. But yeah, won't go into spoilers. But
yeah.
yeah.
You got any more jump scares?
Oh, I
Or
got a few. Yeah. So my next pick is Signs, the window scene. I won't talk about much about Signs. I think people, hopefully, who watch this know what Signs is. M. Night Shyamalan alien evasion movie. Yeah, one of the most impactful scenes for me, and it genuinely scared the crap out of me as a kid. The daughter comes into Mel Gibson the room and says to Mel Gibson that there's a monster in my room. Can I have a glass of water? So when he goes back into the room, he like takes his daughter back to bed, and he looks up out the window, and there is a freaking alien standing on the bastard roof, and the quick violin of him just
yeah,
standing there. It's so ominous. I have that scene embedded in my head. It freaks me out every single time.
and yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's
scene with
so impact.
with the camera.
Yes, I mean I was gonna wasn't gonna mention it because I think that's one of the most iconic ones. But believe it or not, staying on Signs, yes, that is also terrifying as hell. But there's a scene where Mel Gibson, typically, if you think that something's going on in around your house and your cornfield, you decide to investigate at night. Fair enough. I totally would do the same. But Mel
Yeah,
Gibson, he goes into the cornfield at night. He can hear some rustling, can hear some moving. And there's a shot where he gets a torch and he turns it, and you just see this leg dart back into the cornfield. Freaks me out every single time. Yeah, that movie is so vastly unappreciated. Shout out Chris Stuckman. He sticks up for that movie. He loves that movie, and I'm with him on that. Signs is so good and it's so suspenseful. There's so many
yeah. I
moments in
think
that movie that unsettle you.
I think it does its job, like unsettling, and loads of people talk about signs with the alien, like with the camera, and like what you said with the bedroom,
Yeah.
the roof. Sorry, but I think like, and this is why it's important, like that you stick your ending because that's what people remember the most. Because
Yeah.
the whole thing about and like Shyamalan does this, I don't know why he does it for, but like the whole thing just doesn't add up. Like they come to Earth and like their weakness is water. It's a bit like it's a
The
bit
world's 70% water, and yet you decided you
yeah
want to come here.
yeah.
Yeah, very smart choice. Yeah, I get that. I think, yeah, fair enough. He doesn't always stick the landing with his movies, but I think for the most part of that film, he does it ticks the right box in making an unsettling thriller, and with really good characters as well. The backstory with I know Mel Gibson plays a priest, but I can't remember his character's name. So there's
His
the
wife,
backstory
Anthony
with his
Hopkins.
wife. Yeah, yeah, really, really impactful stuff, really sad stuff, and the child performances as well in this film are really good. Joaquin Phoenix is quite good in this movie as well. So yeah. Anyway, off tangent. Yes, I'd go for the window scene and sign that is embedded in my head. It freaks me out every time.
Yeah, good choice. Yeah, no complaints here. Sorry, I thought you had something. But yeah, wouldn't that be creepy if my door started opening then?
Don't check. I do have one more if you want me to, if I can bring it up quickly, because you would definitely agree with this, but unsettling more than necessarily a jump scare.
Yeah, go for it.
The scream at the end in the 1978 invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It unsettles the living crap out of me, and it's such a good twist. That I thought you think he gets away, and then the woman comes up, calls his name, and he points. That scream, that look from Donald
yeah, yeah,
Sutherland is
yeah.
so ominous. It again It's just embedded in there. That scene just makes my my skin crawl every single time. A really good performance and a really, really good movie. To be fair, both versions of that are
Yeah,
really
both
good. The
versions are good. Yeah,
55, yeah.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's
the
a good shout. Yeah,
1955 one and the 78. So yeah, that's really good, really suspenseful. And by the way, really, really good performances as well. So yeah, I'll have to mention that one.
yeah. Solid choice. Yeah, I didn't think about that one. Yeah, that probably sticks in the old noggin. I think that's about everything for this week. Just a little horror chat. Let us know any of your favourites, any of your worst ones, and why is it the Thing prequel? And yeah, any jump scares or unsettling scenes that unsettled and made you shit yourself? Not literally. So yeah, if there's any topics you'd like us to discuss, let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe and all that jazz. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.
Cheers, guys.